Hi there, I'm Robert Moore, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in both cases. Today's going to be another fun video. This one's going to take a little bit of time, but it was something I saw in another author's, our literary critic. I don't know which they were, but that was on their video, came across my YouTube feed, so I decided I was going to answer these questions as well. And basically, they're fantasy questions, questions about the fantasy literature and stories that you've read. So, with that in mind, I'm going to start with the first question, which is, what's the longest fantasy series you've read? The answer to that one is unequivocally The Wheel of Time. At 14 books, it is absolutely the longest fantasy series that I've read. A lot of people don't like the series because it does have moments where it just drags on and on and on. Probably could have been cut by a few books, but overall, it's a very enjoyable series, and Robert Jordan is one of my favorite writers. So that's my longest series, Wheel of Time. 14 books. I've made it through them all at least twice. So there we go. So that brings up question number 2. Who is your favorite fantasy author? Believe it or not Robert Jordan. That would have to be one of two authors. One has unfortunately passed. One is still with us and still writing. The first is Roger Zelazny. Just a phenomenal, wonderful author, writer, and storyteller. I highly recommend any of his works. He is unfortunately it's the one that has passed. But from Dilvish to Dam to the Chronicles of Amber, to some of his lesser known works, his short stories and everything, just an amazing writer. Highly recommend him. Look him up. The other one is PC Hodgel. Probably never heard of her. She is writing a long series, which is bordering the Wheel of Time level, but it's called the Tales of the Chronicles of the Kinserath, and it started with a first book called Godstalker, which I'll talk about later. But PC Hodgel, she is a amazing storyteller. She's created a wonderful, amazing, rich world, and I highly recommend going and looking for her work. So PC Hodgel, her work is published through Baen and still going on. So ongoing. So give her a look. Those are my two favorite. So what's your favorite fantasy setting or world? Without a doubt, Amber. The Chronicles of Amber. Wonderful world where everything, all the worlds, all the universes are shadows of chaos or order. The courts of chaos or the courts of Amber. Everything else is just a shadow, a reflection, an image of one of those two. Yeah, get into that. I do recommend the first Chronicles of Amber more than the second, but both are well worth the read. Yes, absolutely. So, as you might guess, the answer to the question number 4, what is your favorite fantasy book series? Chronicles of Amber. Yeah, I had a lot of fun thinking about these to write down my answers. So, yeah, but my favorite fantasy series got to be the Chronicles of Amber. Roger Zelazny. So, yeah, check it out if you haven't. If you're unfamiliar with it, check out his other works because, as I'll mention, there's another character that's just phenomenal character. So, what is a fantasy book you wish was more popular? For that, I've again got two answers because there are two women authors who deserve a lot more recognition than I think they get. So my answer to this question is Godstalker by PC Hodgel, and or you can go with Black Sun Rising by C.S. Friedman. And both of these ladies, like I said, are wonderful, amazing authors. Please look into them. Friedman especially. Hodgel pretty much has the Kinsereth Chronicles. Friedman has two or three trilogies. The Coldfire trilogy, which Black Sun Rising is the first of. Then there's the Magister trilogy, and then there's In Conquest Born. Friedman is very good reading material all the way around. So check them out. They should be far more popular than they are. Who is your favorite antagonist? From a fantasy setting, that would have to be Tywin Lannister of Song of Ice and Fire. Most of what I read in the fantasy realm, the environment or the antagonist is really just this overwhelming figure. Not really a well thought out, well worked out antagonist. But in Song of Ice and Fire, Tywin Lannister is, just to me, is really well done. He's sneaky. He's doesn't just rush at you. I'm evil. He gets in there and grinds and waits and sets things up, and you walk into them, and now he's got you. And I love that sort of thing. So Tywin Lannister is my favorite antagonist. So question number 7. What was the first fantasy book you ever read? I consider it fantasy. Others may disagree. But the first fantasy book, and the book that actually got me into reading for fun, for recreation, was A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. That was the first one I remember anyway. And I do know it was the one, like I said, that got me interested in reading for fun. So there we have it. A Wrinkle in Time. What is your favorite mythical creature? I don't know. What do you think? Yeah, it's dragons. In fact, I have the nickname of the ice dragon, or Ice Drache. So dragons are definitely my favorite mythical creature. I have all kinds of stories in my head wrapped around them, or them wrapped around my head, depending on how you want to look at it. Just haven't written any of them because dragons do figure, or they did up until it was pointed out, they're really not that popular at the moment. Or they're popular, but they're really not being written about that I know of. Maybe I'm wrong there. If you know some good dragon books, please send them my way. So 9, who is your favorite female protagonist? And this is from the Kinsereth Chronicles by P.C. Hodgel. My favorite female protagonist is Jamathiel Jaime North Templebane. She is an amazing character, and she's the one that P.C. Hodgel has written most of her stories around, is the adventures and misadventures of Jamathiel North. So definitely, again, look into those. So who is your favorite male protagonist? Goes back to Roger Zelazny. Dilvish, as in Dilvish the Damned. To me, just an amazing protagonist, an amazing character. Grit, determined. Nothing like being sent to the literal actual hell by a wizard because you interrupted one of his rituals. And you fight your way out and go looking for him to deal out your revenge. Dilvish is a great character. And over the course of the 2 books that we got about Dilvish, he becomes a lot more than just a slathering at the mouth beast looking for his revenge. So, highly recommend that one. So, those are the 10 questions. And I guess I'll open it up. Ask me any questions if you want, if you can think of other ones that these didn't cover. And on that note, I'll halt this video and bid you all have a very good day. And I hope it's a wonderful one for you. See you next time.